you're holding silver right now, this may be the most important few weeks you've had in years. Silver isn't rare, and yet it's becoming harder to get. That contradiction should make you uncomfortable, because if you hold silver right now, it might mean you have weeks, not months, to prepare for what's coming next. And no, this isn't a silver to the moon video, no price targets, no hype charts. This is about what just changed, why the next few weeks matter more than the last few years, and how most people holding silver are actually less prepared than they think. Quick question before we go any further. Be honest with yourself. If silver prices dropped 20% tomorrow, would you panic or would you feel relieved? That answer reveals everything, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why. But first, let's talk about what just changed. What just changed and why the next weeks matter. For years, silver has been stuck in limbo, too volatile for conservatives, too boring for speculators, ignored by policymakers. But behind the scenes, something subtle and dangerous has shifted, not only in price, in behavior. Central banks aren't buying silver, but they're buying what silver represents. Governments aren't talking about metal, but they're preparing for trust failures. And institutions aren't panicking yet, but they are repositioning. Here's the part most people miss. Markets don't break when prices move. They break when confidence disappears. And confidence right now is cracking, slowly, quietly, and unevenly. The next few weeks matter because we're entering a transition window, the phase where narratives change before prices do. This is where prepared investors act, and unprepared ones get shaken out, which brings us to the real game being played. The real game, behavior versus price. Most people think investing is about predicting price. It's not. It's about predicting human behavior under stress. Silver doesn't move first. People do. Fear hits before charts break. Liquidity dries up before headlines scream. And the biggest mistakes happen when investors confuse volatility with danger. Let me put it this way. If silver were just about price, Wall Street would love it. But silver isn't about price. It's about insurance. And insurance is boring. Until suddenly it's not. And when that shift happens, the crowd reacts emotionally, which leads us to the elephant in the room. Inflation, debt, and why. Paper trust cracks first. America doesn't have a silver problem. It has a trust problem. Trillions in debt, persistent inflation, and a system that only works if everyone believes the paper promises will be honored. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Every fiat system survives until it doesn't. Not overnight, not with fireworks, but with small fractures. First, purchasing power erodes. Then savings feel pointless. Then people quietly look for exits. Silver lives in that moment, not as a bet, not as a trade, but as a response. And when trust weakens, the system does something predictable. It introduces volatility, the volatility trap, how they shake out weak hands. If silver prices never scared people, they'd never let you own it. Volatility isn't a bug, it's a feature. Sharp drops, false breakouts, sudden reversals. Why? Because volatility transfers assets from emotional hands to disciplined ones. This is where most silver holders fail. They buy during fear, then sell during boredom or frustration, or worse, during engineered panic. And this is why the next few weeks are critical. Not because silver is about to explode, but because volatility is about to test conviction. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Are you holding silver because you understand its role, or because you're hoping it does something? Big difference. Which brings us to silver's actual purpose, silver's real role, a hedge with teeth, not a lottery ticket. Silver is not a get-rich-quick asset. If that's what you're expecting, you're holding the wrong thing. Silver is a hedge with teeth. It protects purchasing power. It offers optionality. It performs when systems malfunction, but only if it's sized correctly, only if expectations are realistic, and only if it's part of a larger strategy. Silver isn't meant to replace your life. It's meant to defend it, which leads to the most overlooked question of all. What does preparation actually look like? The 4-pillar prep plan. If you hold silver but lack these 4 pillars, you're exposed. Let's break them down. Pillar 1, cash. Cash isn't trash. It's flexibility. Volatility rewards those who can wait. Cash gives you optionality when others are forced to sell. Pillar 2, debt. High-interest debt is anti-preparation. In unstable environments, debt removes choice. Reducing it is a guaranteed return. Pillar 3, skills. Skills compound when markets don't. Trade skills, digital skills, problem-solving skills, they outlast every currency. Pillar 4, allocation. Silver should support your portfolio, not dominate it. Overexposure turns a hedge into a liability, which brings us to a critical and misunderstood issue. Paper price versus this. Real access. Here's another uncomfortable truth. You don't own silver until you can get it. Paper prices are abstract. Real access is physical. When stress hits markets, the first thing to break isn't price, it's availability. Premiums rise, delivery delays appear, inventory disappears, and suddenly the cheap silver on your screen doesn't exist in real life. This is why timing matters, not for price, but for access, which leads directly to how much you should actually hold. Position. Sizing. The move that protects your sleep. If silver price movements ruin your mood, you're holding too much. Position sizing isn't about maximizing gains, it's about minimizing regret. The correct size is the one that lets you ignore headlines, sleep at night, hold through volatility, act rationally when others can't. Most people get this wrong. They underallocate emotionally, then overreact financially. And that's where the final test comes in. The 2 questions that expose your weak spots. Answer these honestly. First question, if silver drops sharply, do I understand why, or will I panic? Second, if silver spikes but access disappears, am I prepared, or just watching numbers? If either answer makes you uneasy, that's the signal, not to panic, but to prepare. Because the final risk isn't silver itself, it's false confidence. Final warning, Plust. What to watch next? Here's the warning. Most people won't hear until it's too late. The biggest losses don't come from crashes. They come from being positioned wrong when the narrative changes. The next few weeks aren't about prediction, they're about positioning. Watch behavior, not headlines. Watch access, not price. Watch confidence, not charts. Silver isn't screaming yet, but it's whispering, and those who listen early don't have to rush later, because once the crowd realizes what silver is actually for, preparation windows close fast, and when that happens, you won't be asking, what should I do? You'll be wishing you'd asked it sooner. If you want more research-backed breakdowns on wealth, markets, and global shifts, make sure to subscribe.